He wasn't the only superstar to return last night on Monday Night Raw. That was at the start of Raw, then at the end of Raw, as I played in the pre-show audio clip. The Undertaker has returned to the WWE in an apparent program with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar came out, a table and contract and all, saying that he was issuing an open challenge for WrestleMania, since the Authority did not grant him his desired match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. So at least they addressed that. I was afraid that they would completely forget about that after Lesnar said he wanted to go or contend for the WWE title a couple of months ago. So I'm glad they addressed that. So he said that he wouldn't be getting that, and then he gets to pick his opponent for WrestleMania. Cue The Undertaker to a loud pop from the Green Bay fans. He comes out, and he signs a contract, or Lesnar signs a contract, and before Undertaker can sign, he stabs the hand of Brock Lesnar, which I didn't see coming. I thought that was pretty cool. And then he gives a chokeslam to Lesnar through the table, and that is that. The Undertaker ends the show looking like circa 1999 Ministry of Darkness, or 1997, or whatever the hell it was. But a great way to close the show. We were talking earlier on in the show, Caleb, or before the show went live, about how the ending and closing, or the ending and starting segments of these shows, of last night's Raw, were the strong points, and I couldn't agree more. So your thoughts on The Undertaker's return to WWE last night on Raw?
Well, there are two things I can take out of Undertaker's return, and that's one, I've never marked out so hard for facial hair. I don't know what the deal was with me. Like, I don't know, maybe because I'm such a huge mark for Ministry of Darkness Taker or something, but it was crazy. And then, this is the first time we've seen someone get, stabbed with a pin in WWE since, Vince and Hogan's contract signing back in 2003. Mm-hmm. That was great and random and non-PG. I would never expect someone to get stabbed in the hand with a pin in the current PG environment. So it was great and different, and it felt different. It didn't feel we've seen so many contract signings the last few years. It's just the same thing, and they talk and they fight, and then maybe something a little different will happen. And then finally, you're like, someone got stabbed in the hand with a pen. And granted, it did turn into a brawl like most contract signings do. But it was just great. It felt so unique and different. Even though we've seen Undertaker in Lesnar feud before, we've seen Undertaker return WrestleMania time before, something about it just felt fresh. And I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just being stabbed in the hand with a pen. But it just felt great. And I'm just really looking. And even though I do worry for Undertaker's health at WrestleMania because Brock Lesnar could definitely hurt him on accident. But nonetheless, I'm actually really looking forward to this match now.
That was one of my gripes going into this matchup, and you just said it yourself. These two have feuded before, albeit 10 years ago. I mean, that was in, 02, 03? So it was a long time ago, but and another gripe of mine going into this match at WrestleMania was the fact that Lesnar's physical style was too much for Taker to handle, and Undertaker would ultimately break a hip during the matchup. But you know what? And I know a lot of people, myself included, wanted to see Taker versus Cena at WrestleMania or something a little more fresh. But you know what? As it goes for the rest of the WrestleMania card, and with the exception of Batista Orton, which I'll get to in a minute, you just got to make the most of it. We're not going to get Cena versus Taker. That was pretty apparent up to a couple months ago. Taker even said last year, there were reports going around that he'd be facing Lesnar at this year's WrestleMania. So, you know what? You just make the most of it. There could be far worse people that he could be facing right now. He could be facing Triple H for the millionth time. He could be facing Randy Orton again. I just like the fact that someone new at WrestleMania, and Brock Lesnar, unlike last year, is being booked dominantly going into WrestleMania. Because remember, he defeated, with the exception of last night, but I'll get to that in a second, because he defeated Triple H at Extreme Rules, defeated CM Punk at SummerSlam, and then decimated the Big Show at the Royal Rumble. So he's 3-0 so far in the last year in terms of pay-per-view. He lost to Triple H last year at WrestleMania, but disregarding that, in his last three matches, he is 3-0. So, and I think it's okay that Taker beat him up last night, because a lot of people were expecting Lesnar to just come out, beat Taker up, and end the show that way, which would have been fine too, but I thought it was a nice change of pace for Undertaker to come out and get the better of Lesnar, and with that awesome pen-stabbing spot, it's just a small stuff like that that can just make a segment memorable, and it definitely did. The crowd loved it, we loved it, the new look, the Undertaker's always adapting his image, so it's great to see him changing up his look with the goatee and the he's had the mohawk for a couple of years now, but he's sporting some gray hair now on his head, and he obviously looks a lot older, but he's looking more badass by the day. So it's pretty cool to see him in rare form this past Monday night on Raw in a great segment with Brock Lesnar.